Sebelum mengerjakan part B dan part C pada latihan ini, perlu kita ingat terlebih dahulu. Dalam bagian part A Short Conversations pada tes TOEIC listening, peserta akan mendengarkan percakapan singkat antara dua orang yang hanya terdiri dari 1 hingga 2 kalimat, kemudian menjawab satu pertanyaan berdasarkan percakapan tersebut. Untuk menyelesaikan bagian ini secara efektif, ada beberapa strategi khusus yang perlu diperhatikan. Pertama, fokus utama sebaiknya diarahkan pada kalimat terakhir dari pembicara kedua, karena biasanya di sanalah terdapat petunjuk atau bahkan jawaban tersirat dari pertanyaan. Kedua, penting untuk memahami idiom dan ekspresi umum dalam bahasa Inggris, karena banyak soal dirancang untuk menjebak dengan parafrase atau penggunaan ungkapan idiomatik. Ketiga, peserta harus mewaspadai pilihan jawaban yang terdengar mirip, sebab ini seringkali digunakan sebagai perangkap, padahal maknanya berbeda. Selain itu, peserta tidak perlu memahami seluruh isi percakapan secara mendalam, tetapi cukup menangkap inti atau gagasan utama dari respons pembicara kedua. Terakhir, karena setiap soal berpindah dengan cepat dan percakapannya pendek, kecepatan berpikir dan tingkat konsentrasi yang tinggi sangat dibutuhkan agar dapat memahami isi dan menjawab dengan benar dalam waktu yang terbatas. Selanjutnya, dalam TOEIC Listening Part B Longer Conversations, peserta akan mendengarkan percakapan yang lebih panjang antara dua orang, biasanya terdiri dari 2-3 percakapan dalam satu tes, dan masing-masing diikuti oleh 3-4 pertanyaan. Untuk mengerjakan bagian ini secara efektif, strategi yang utama adalah mengidentifikasi topik percakapan sejak awal, termasuk siapa yang berbicara, apa yang mereka bicarakan, dan mengapa percakapan itu terjadi. Peserta juga disarankan untuk mencatat poin-poin penting selama mendengarkan, seperti nama orang, tempat, alasan tertentu, pendapat, dan solusi yang disebutkan. Penting juga untuk memperhatikan perubahan sikap atau pendapat para pembicara, karena sering muncul pertanyaan seperti, "What is the man's attitude?" Atau, "How does the woman feel?" Dalam menghadapi percakapan yang panjang, peserta tidak perlu menghafal seluruh isi percakapan, melainkan cukup menangkap ide utama dan detail penting. Selain itu, gunakan jeda waktu antar soal untuk mengingat kembali poin-poin penting, tanpa harus menuliskan semuanya secara lengkap. Pendekatan yang sistematis dan fokus pada informasi kunci akan sangat membantu dalam menjawab pertanyaan dengan tepat. Kemudian, dalam TOEIC Listening Part C Talks or Lectures, peserta akan mendengarkan monolog panjang seperti kuliah dosen, seminar akademik, atau pengumuman kampus, biasanya terdiri dari 2-3 bagian dalam satu tes, dan masing-masing diikuti oleh 4-6 pertanyaan. Strategi utama yang perlu diterapkan adalah menangkap ide utama dan tujuan pembicara, karena banyak pertanyaan yang menanyakan, "What is the main idea?" Atau, "What is the purpose of the talk?" Selain itu, penting untuk mencatat informasi secara berurutan, terutama jika pembicaraan menyampaikan proses, langkah-langkah, sebab akibat, atau perbandingan. Peserta juga harus mewaspadai kata transisi dan penekanan, signposting, seperti first of all, however, atau in conclusion, karena ini menandai bagian penting dari isi pembicaraan. Mengenali nada dan intonasi pembicara juga dapat membantu memahami sikap atau emosi yang tersirat dalam materi, yang sering muncul dalam pertanyaan sikap pembicara. Terakhir, peserta disarankan untuk menggunakan strategi prediksi sebelum mendengarkan, terutama jika tersedia informasi awal seperti judul atau topik, karena hal ini dapat membantu memfokuskan perhatian pada ide-ide penting dalam rekaman. Strategi-strategi ini akan sangat membantu dalam menyaring informasi yang relevan dan menjawab pertanyaan dengan tepat. Semoga tips ini diingat sebelum mengerjakan dan bisa membantu dalam mengerjakan tes TOEIC listening.
Now read along as the directions for Part B are being read. Part B. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear longer conversations. After each conversation, you will hear several questions. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Remember, you should not take notes or write in your book.
Questions 31 through 34. Listen to a conversation between 2 teaching assistants.
Dan, do you have a minute?
Oh, hi, Kathy. Sure. What's up?
Well, I've been meaning to talk to you about the situation in the office.
I'm not in there very often. It's so noisy that I can't work.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. We're supposed to be able to do our preparation and marking in that office. But have you noticed? Jack constantly has students coming in to get help with his course. A lot of people are going in and out.
Has anybody spoken to him about it?
No, not yet. But someone's going to have to.
We can't really ask him to stop having students come in for help, can we?
No, of course not. But I'm not able to do my work, and neither are you. I imagine it's the same for the others in the office.
Could we ask for a kind of meeting room? When TAs have to talk with a student, they could go to the meeting room and not use the office. You know, there's a room down the hall, a rather small room that we could ask to use. It's only for storing supplies.
You mean that little storage room? Oh, that would be too small.
Are you sure? With the cabinets taken out, it might be bigger than it looks.
Come to think of it, you may be onto something. I'd like to have a look at that room. Can we go there now?
Sure, let's go.
Question number 31.
What problem at the office are Kathy and Stan discussing?
Question number 32.
Why do Jack's students come to see him?
Question number 33.
What does Stan suggest they do?
Question number 34.
What does Kathy say about Stan's suggestion? Questions 35 through 38. Listen to a conversation between two students.
I really appreciate your filling me in on yesterday's lecture.
No problem. I thought you might want to go over it together. And anyway, it helps me review. Hope you're feeling better now.
I am, thanks. So, you said she talked about squid? Sounds a little strange.
Well, actually, it was about the evolution of sea life, a continuation from last week. The octopus and the squid descended from earlier creatures with shells. They survived by shedding their shells, somewhere between 200 and 500 million years ago.
That's a pretty long span of time.
I know. That's what she said, though. To be precise, exactly when they emerged is uncertain, and why is still unexplained.
Some squid are really huge. Can you imagine something that big if it still had a shell?
Actually, it's because they lost their shells that they could evolve to a bigger size.
Makes sense. But some are really huge. I've read about fishermen that caught squid that weighed over a ton. Did she talk about how that happens?
Not really, but she did mention some unusual cases. In 1933 in New Zealand, they caught a squid. Let's see here. It was 22 yards long. Its eyes were 18 inches across. Can you imagine?
Reminds me of all those stories of sea monsters.
Dr. Simpson thinks there are probably even larger ones that haven't been found because squid are intelligent and fast, so they can easily get away from humans. Maybe some of those monster stories are true.
Question number 35.
What topic are the man and woman discussing?
Question number 36.
Why does the man need to talk to the woman about the class?
Question number 37.
According to the woman, what happened 200 to 500 million years ago?
Question number 38.
What does the woman imply about sea monsters?
This is the end of Part B. Go on to the next page. Now read along as the directions for Part C are being read. Part C. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear several short talks. After each talk, you will hear some questions. The talks and the questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your book and choose the best answer. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the space that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Here is an example. On the recording you hear, "Listen to an instructor talk to his class about a television program."
I'd like to tell you about an interesting TV program that'll be shown this coming Thursday. It'll be on from 9 to 10 p.m. on Channel 4. It's part of a series called Mysteries of Human Biology. And the subject of the program is the human brain, how it functions and how it can malfunction. Topics that will be covered are dreams, memory, and depression. These topics are illustrated with outstanding computer animation that makes the explanations easy to follow. Make an effort to see this show. Since we've been studying the nervous system in class, I know you'll find it very helpful.
Now listen to a sample question. What is the main purpose of the program? In your test book, you read, A. To demonstrate the latest use of computer graphics. B. To discuss the possibility of an economic depression. C. To explain the workings of the brain. D. To dramatize a famous mystery story. The best answer to the question, "What is the main purpose of the program?" is C. To explain the workings of the brain. Therefore, the correct choice is C. Now listen to another sample question. Why does the speaker recommend watching the program? In your test book, you read, A. It is required of all science majors. B. It will never be shown again. C. It can help viewers improve their memory skills. D. It will help with coursework. The best answer to the question, "Why does the speaker recommend watching the program?" is D. It will help with coursework. Therefore, the correct choice is D. Remember, you should not take notes or write in your book. Go on to the next page. Now we will begin Part C with the first talk.
Questions 39 through 42. Listen to a talk given by the Dean of the School of Education.
Community service is an important component of education here at our university. We encourage all students to volunteer for at least one community activity before they graduate. A new community program called One-on-One helps elementary students who've fallen behind. You education majors might be especially interested in it because it offers the opportunity to do some teaching, that is, tutoring in math and English. You'd have to volunteer 2 hours a week for 1 semester. You can choose to help a child with math, English, or both. Half-hour lessons are fine, so you could do a half hour of each subject 2 days a week. Professor Dodge will act as a mentor to the tutors. He'll be available to help you with lesson plans or to offer suggestions for activities. He has office hours every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. You can sign up for the program with him and begin the tutoring next week. I'm sure you'll enjoy this community service, and you'll gain valuable experience at the same time. It looks good on your resume, too, showing that you've had experience with children and that you care about your community. If you'd like to sign up, or if you have any questions, stop by Professor Dodge's office this week.
Question number 39.
What is the purpose of the talk?
Question number 40.
What is the purpose of the program the dean describes?
Question number 41.
What does Professor Dodge do?
Question number 42.
What should students interested in the tutorials do? Questions 43 through 46. Listen to an instructor in a business class.
I hope you've all finished reading the assigned chapter on insurance so that you're prepared for our discussion today. But before we start, I'd like to mention a few things your text doesn't go into. It's interesting to note that insurance has existed in some form for a very long time. The earliest insurance policies were what were called bottomry contracts. They provided shipping protection for merchants as far back as 3000 BC. In general, the contracts were often no more than verbal agreements. They granted loans to merchants with the understanding that if a particular shipment of goods was lost at sea, the loan didn't have to be repaid. Interest on the loans varied according to how risky it was to transport the goods. During periods of heavy piracy at sea, for example, the amount of interest and the cost of the policy went up considerably. So you can see how insurance helped encourage international trade. Even the most cautious merchants became willing to risk shipping their goods over long distances, not to mention in hazardous weather conditions, when they had this kind of protection available. Generally speaking, the basic form of an insurance policy has been pretty much the same since the Middle Ages. There are 4 points that were salient then and remain paramount in all policies today. These were outlined in Chapter 6 and will serve as the basis for the rest of today's discussion. Can anyone tell me what one of those points might be?
Question number 43.
What is the purpose of the instructor's talk?
Question number 44.
Who were the first insurance contracts designed to protect?
Question number 45.
What does the instructor say determined the cost of early insurance policies?
Question number 46.
What does the instructor say about current insurance policies?
Question 47 to 50. Listen to a talk on the radio about a research project. Located at the NASA Research Center in Iowa, there is a 5,000-gallon vat of water. And inside the tank is an underwater treadmill designed by Dave Newman, an aerospace engineer. For 4 years, Newman observed scuba divers as they stimulated walking on the Moon and on Mars on her underwater moving belt. She wanted to discover how the gravity of the Moon and of Mars would affect human movement. To do this, Newman attached weights to the divers and then lowered them into the tank and onto the treadmill. These weights were carefully adjusted so that the divers could experience underwater the gravity of the Moon and of Mars as they walked on the treadmill. Newman concluded that walking on Mars will probably be easier than walking on the Moon. The Moon has less gravity than Mars does. So at lunar gravity the divers struggled to keep their balance and walked awkwardly. But at Martian gravity, the divers had greater traction and stability, and could easily adjust to a pace of 1.5 miles per hour. As Newman gradually increased the speed of the treadmill, the divers took longer, graceful strides until they comfortably settled into an even quicker pace. Newman also noted that at Martian gravity, the divers needed less oxygen. The data Newman collected will help in the future design of Martian spacesuits. Compared to lunar spacesuits, Martian spacesuits will require smaller air tanks. And to allow for freer movement, the elbow and knee areas of the spacesuits will also be altered.
Question number 47.
What did Newman change so that the divers could experience different gravity levels too?
Question number 48.
Why will Martian spacesuits be designed differently from lunar spacesuits?
Question number 49.
What happened to the divers at Martian gravity when the speed of the treadmill was increased?
Question number 50.
What is one way that the design of Martian spacesuits will differ from lunar spacesuits?
Jika Anda merasa perlu memutar ulang audio listening, silahkan diputar ulang. Tetaplah berusaha sebaik mungkin dan semaksimal mungkin dalam belajar listening ini.